Before this video starts, I want to give a massive shout out to all my channel members. If you want to receive a shout out, then become a channel member today and you'll be shown on screen like all these other channel members here. Anyways, enjoy the video. In version 15.3, a brand new legend unit was added to the game, this being Master of Selection Darwin. In this video, I want to go over his kit to see what the old turtle could bring to the battlefield. Before we start, like, comment, subscribe, the whole ordeal. The footage and stats that will be discussed of this unit are at level 50 because of how late this unit is acquired. To get us started, let's take a look at the old turtle stats. At level 50, they sport 167,000 health, and since they resist, have an effective 837,000 health against red, angel, and alien enemies. Darwin also sports a split ranged attack, with about 60% of his total damage being between 1 to 301 range. Within this range, he deals 43,200 damage with 5,400 DPS. In his second attack that spans from 301 to 501 range, he deals 29,700 damage with 3,712 DPS. Darwin costs 4,800 to send out, has a speed of 4, sports 3 knockbacks, and has a cooldown of 137.87 seconds. On top of resisting red, angel, and alien enemies, he is able to weaken and curse them for 4.8 seconds, is a Sage Slayer, is immune to warp, and has a conjure. Darwin is a mid-range tanker, sporting a very impressive health stat. His 300 standing range allows Darwin to serve as a nice secondary layer of defense and can spread solid crowd control against his targets. Darwin's Weaken and Curse have an uptime of around 60%, which may not be the most insane. They can provide temporary relief against the likes of a wide host of aggressive enemies such as Angelic Gory, Starpang, and Dr. KO with the Weaken. Said Weaken is also capable of allowing him to tank better in the event he does need to start tanking. He's also pretty solid until the Prude, though depending on the supporting enemies, Darwin may have difficulty tanking for extended periods of time. Darwin's 300 standing range allows him to outrange a ton of threatening mid-range enemies that he can target, including Toucan variants, and more relevantly, Commander Ostromata. Ostromata is a fairly difficult enemy to deal with, as their 290 range makes them outrange all the common answers to aliens besides Fried Chicken and Psycho Cat. Darwin's Curse can also shut off their warp for a solid amount of time, making units like Soap and Jetpack able to tank better. While it might sound like their curse would be an issue by overriding Fried Chicken's curse if you're using them, the thing is that Fried Chicken is a unit who is easily stacked, and with such a fast attack rate and amazing uptime, there is very little issue. Darwin's Weaken also gives him another viable niche when paired with Fried Chicken to minimize how deadly the angels and aliens they will be fighting together are. Darwin's ability to pierce into the backline can also allow him to snipe enemies if he has a stepping stone, such as Red Energy, Sleipnir, and I Am Face to name a few examples. However, because Darwin requires a stepping stone to hit these enemies, if one isn't provided, he can struggle to reach these enemies. In the case of Sleipnir and Red Energy specifically, they could easily juggle Darwin with knockback due to his sluggish speed. Darwin is also a Sage Slayer, and as such has additional stats against them, can bypass the Sage CC resistance, and can resist Sage enemies' crowd control effects. His base Sage health at level 50 is 334,800. When fighting Red, Angel, or Alien Sages, his effective health jumps to 1.67 million health. His first hit deals 51,000 damage to Sages with 6,480 DPS, while the second hit deals 29,000 damage with 3,712 DPS. Against the various Sage enemies, the ones he excels the best in fighting are those that have his specific target traits. Darwin's sheer health against these enemies means that he can deal substantial damage and help dampen the effect of these enemies. He can shut down Tarsiriel's ability to slow, can sponge damage against Dr. KO and Tekanold, as well as block their warp. He's a bit iffy into Angilaki, as Darwin really has to move up if they want to hit the Seahorse. Also, Darwin's extremely low speed also makes it rather difficult to get value out of him on Newton's stage, making his use in replays very shaky. Against his enemy counterpart, Darwin's kit is built to make rematches against this stage way easier, as your Darwin can sometimes weaken the enemy Darwin to minimize his damage. He can also help greatly against the Ostromata and Boraphims present. However, here's where we can start to see some of the flaws with Darwin. While Darwin is by no means a bad unit, there are some issues that can make him feel lacking in some spots. Darwin's only immunity being warped means that against enemies that love to knock back, such as Sleipnir and Red Energy, as mentioned before, can give Darwin a really difficult time landing any hits at all. Another immunity Darwin lacks is Curse immunity. As well, Darwin is good into his enemy self. Enemy Darwin can still shut down your Darwin's ability to weaken and curse for almost a whole second. This isn't the biggest issue, but in Stardew Valley, 4-star in particular, aliens and angels tend to be paired with relics a lot and can shut down Darwin very easily. Also, because both Technold and Darwin are curse immune, Ally Darwin is unable to actually shut down these enemies' crowd control effects, so Technold can still warp your units, and enemy Darwin can still both curse and delay your units. Darwin also being fittingly as slow as a Galapagos tortoise means that Darwin will take some time to actively reach the front line, so depending on the stage, it may take some time for Darwin to start having an impact on the field. Darwin's cooldown of 137 seconds is also a little bit long, meaning that in the event Darwin does get overwhelmed, there's a chance you won't have a second Darwin ready to go if your first Darwin dies. One last thing about his kit is his Conjure. Darwin's Conjure allows Darwin to knock back all enemies he hits with it. While this is the same Conjure ability that Newton has, the way it's used is a little bit different. Seeing as Newton has such a high standing range, it's better to use it as a get off me tool, as using the Conjure at max standing range won't allow you to hit many enemies. Darwin, on the other hand, sports a much shorter standing range, allowing him to hit enemies up to 350 range. While Darwin's Conjure can work as a get off me tool, it could also be used to score some solid damage into the enemy backline. This makes his Conjure a little bit more flexible than Newton's, though the fact that it has the same ability as Newton's Conjure makes it feel a little bit more bland. So, how good is Master of Selection Darwin? Well, Darwin is definitely a step down in power compared to Newton, which to be fair is pretty hard to beat Newton in strength when it comes to not making something even more absurd. Darwin is still solid for what he does, but his issues do hold him back in some ways. Mainly the lack of immunities and somewhat low uptime with his crowd controlling abilities, but it isn't enough to make the unit bad. One of the biggest selling points is that they're a special unit, so it can be used in 4-star stages, allowing him to near perfectly substitute a ton of anti-alien and angel ubers and providing solid support. With all that said, I want to thank you for watching this analysis of Master of Selection Darwin. If you thought this insight was interesting, then be sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy Battle Cats content, and comment down below your thoughts on them. I'd love to hear what you all think. Also, shout out to the following channel members: Dr. Deadly, Comet, Virus Aparo, Just a Shark, Gross Cat the Ultra, Potato King, Atsushi, King Wolf, Glamorous, Bailey Grover, Jade Rabbit, Janik Altenberg, Tentacle Gaming, I May Be Dumb, I'm Too Few, Alex Dudurex, and Carlos Fabian for being silver members or higher. If you want to receive a shout out like these channel members here, then become a silver member or higher today. Becoming a channel member supports what I do in a way that helps keep the lights on and allows me to continue making content for all of you to watch. Anyways, I hope you have a wonderful day.